Good morning, and live from the campus of the United States Sports Academy in Daphne, Alabama, this is Sports Talk, the weekly presentation of the United States Sports Academy and Department of Communications, in which we engage in several topics that are current in sport. This morning, we're going to have some early season Major League outlooks and predictions. I'm Arthur Ogden. I serve as the moderator, and our panel today is Dr. Steve Butler, who is our Dean of Academic Affairs, and Dr. Tim Foley, who is our Dean for Student Services. A little bit of background about these guys. Dr. Butler has been, for lack of a better phrase, an encyclopedia of baseball statistics ever since I've known him. And he can pull some facts out of the air and put them all together. It makes good sense. Dr. Foley played baseball at Kansas State University, and where he lettered. He played first base, and we're very pleased to have someone from the Big 12 here, since they don't have anything going in football or basketball. But we thought today we would talk about some of the predictions for the upcoming Major League Baseball season, since we're just into it. About a week, 10 days old,
yeah,
something like that. And already we've had a couple of records set. Who was the ball player that had 5 home runs or 3 home runs?
Adrian Gonzalez was the first player ever to hit 5 home runs in the first 3 games.
First 3 games. Who did he play for?
Dodgers.
Beautiful
Dodgers.
swing.
Yeah, beautiful swing.
So he's on pace to hit like 300.
Yes.
What are some of the other early stories to the Major League Baseball? Tim?
Well, I think probably the biggest disappointment right now is the Washington Nationals, and they're just struggling, and a lot of them have them penciled in for the World Series. Their shortstop is really struggling, leads the league in errors. And I don't think this is a surprise, but the Kansas City Royals are just keeping up where they left off. A lot of young enthusiasm, just fun to watch play.
I think one of the good stories too is the Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
They started 7-1 without their best pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Verlander's on the DL, and I heard yesterday that was they had the great team in '84 where they started 35-7, and then
Right.
went on and won everything with Kirk Gibson and the boys. But this was the first time they've started 7-1 since 1981. So they weren't even 7-1 in that '84 incredible year.
I like to see Detroit do anything. Ever since I saw that special on ESPN about the bad boys, I love Detroit.
Yeah.
Which league is going to be stronger this year, gentlemen? The American or the National? What do you think?
Well, 2 divisions I look at, again with Detroit and Kansas City, I look at the AL Central, but also the NL West with the Dodgers. And interesting, Colorado is leading the league in offense as usual, but their ERA is 2.47. Now, I don't know if they keep that up.
They must have started on the road.
Exactly.
It's kind of interesting because I wrote down AL Central and NL West as well. Sports Illustrated picked Cleveland to win the World Series, and they're also in the AL Central. So you've got Kansas City and Detroit both started 7-0, and Cleveland is right around 4-4 now, I believe. But really strong division there in the AL Central. I think the American League will be stronger than the National League. I know some of the old school people like National League Baseball better because they don't have a designated hitter.
Right.
I would rather watch Miguel Cabrera hit than some pitcher who's over 65.
Where's San Francisco in all this? They're
struggling.
They're defending.
But this is an odd number year, so we discount them.
Yeah.
They won the World Series in 10, 12, and 14, so we don't have to worry about the Giants this year.
See, his knowledge of baseball is encyclopedia. Remember that. What pitchers should we be watching this season? Verlander and who else?
I'll tell you one of the pitchers I want to watch this season, and actually he beat Clayton Kershaw last year, is Archie Bradley for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the only reason I say that is he's actually in everybody's list of top 5 Rookie of the Year candidates. But I saw him pitch 5 or 6 times for the Mobile Bay Bears 2 years ago.
He was the Bears.
Yeah, and he was the pitcher of the year in the Southern League, and he was the number 7 pick overall by the Diamondbacks when they drafted him, and he just seems to be destined for stardom in the major leagues. I think another thing that's going to be interesting to watch is the Cuban players coming over now that they don't have to come over in bathtubs anymore and little tiny boats. They can actually come here of their own free will. Another one of the people that everybody's talking about as a rookie of the year candidate is this guy Yasmani Tomas for the Cubs. Who came over from Cuba, and I think we're going to see more and more of them Cuban players coming over as the relations are normalized. And I think that it'll be interesting to see what impact they have, because we saw what Yasiel Puig did for the Dodgers. And
he made an impact. But what about the Trout kid? We don't hear much about him this year, and he's still a top player.
Yeah,
he's tremendous. I don't know exactly where he is, but
I mean, the media just doesn't seem to be giving him much attention at all.
one of the things that I think everybody needs to do is just relax a little bit. When the Royals and the Tigers are 7-0, we jokingly talked about it going 162-0.
Right.
I don't think we need to overreact to good starts or bad starts. Most people seem to think that you basically when the season's 1/4 of the way over, so about 40 games is when you can start really making some rational decisions about where people are going. There's no reason to get upset if your team's 2-5 right now or 2-6, and there's no reason to get overly excited if they're 7-1. So, but the things will work itself out, and they play a balanced schedule now. So we'll just see what happens going forward.
I think the biggest theme is the dominance in pitching. We spoke about this. The 240 batting average is the lowest batting average in 40 years. They had a record number of, was it shutouts on opening day? 15 shutouts. I mean, you have double the guys throwing 95 plus that you had 20 years ago. Harvey's back and he's throwing 99 after the surgery. So the NCAA is already made a motion to lower the seams to reduce the air drag.
Yeah,
so
they had 2 home runs in the entire College World Series.
Exactly. So I mean, eventually you may have the mound lowering or something.
Well, does that have something to do with NCAA still uses the aluminum bats?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they actually toned down the bats.
They've toned down the bats so much now that there's no offense.
Yeah, there's no offense. There was too many. We were having 17-14 scores in the baseball scores in the College World Series, and they decided to pull it back, and they may have went too far.
Mm-hmm.
But some people ask why don't they use metal bats in the major leagues. I think we saw last night when that pitcher got hit in the side of the head, you would get a pitcher killed. Yeah. Can you imagine Frank Thomas swinging a aluminum bat?
Yeah.
We saw that guy got creamed last night right in the side of the head. And
I still believe that. I think someone's, even with wooden bats, I think someone's going to get killed. And I would hope, I don't know what they can do about it, if they want to wear some helmets. I know they've done that with the coaches, but.
Yeah, they've done the kind of thing with the shell.
The shell,
that goes underneath the hat. Well, it's not really a helmet, but it just kind of protects them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
what about some of the rules changes that have been implemented in the off season?
Well, the one to speed up play seems to be working. It was 8 minutes and 25 seconds, somewhere in that 8.5 minutes, basically. Quicker during the first week, and I heard 2 guys talking about on the radio. One guy said, "Well, that's just the first week of the season." Well, last year in the first week of the season, they averaged 3 hours and 2 minutes, and the overall average for the entire season was 3 hours and 2 minutes. Wow. So the whole season was very, very reflective of the first week. So, and they knocked it down to like 253, and some change this year. And so I've never been one who, when I go to a baseball game, want it to be over really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I think the biggest thing that's come is the time between innings.
Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I know sitting in the ballpark, that's the one part I hate. And you can always tell when a game's on television, and if it's on ESPN, it's even worse than Fox or CBS, because when I see ESPN, it seems like those commercials drag on forever.
I still remember it took Barry Bonds about 15 minutes to jog out from the dugout to left field. Yeah. So
that we have all of these electronic monitorings that happen in basketball and hockey, and particularly in football. I always wondered why they couldn't have some kind of electronic laser beam or something to give the pitching box, in other words, the strike zone, why they couldn't do that. And I don't know how they would do it, but it would seem to me that would solve a lot of problems.
Well, they do have it because they show it to you on television. The K zone.
But they don't count it to override
No.
unofficials, an
No.
umpire.
I think what the players really want is consistency. So if you're calling it up, you just do it for both teams. So the umpires do a pretty good job. They're pretty consistent.
Yeah, there's a couple knuckleheads that just need to be fired, but other than that, I think you're right. The best thing when I went to umpire school, they told us the best thing that can happen is at the end of the game they don't know who the umpire was.
Mhm.
Well, what about this new? I know that there are batters who are really, really good batters. Get in, they just kick the line.
Oh yeah.
Smear the line. Well, I understand they're not allowed to do that anymore.
Same with tobacco.
You've never really been allowed to do it, but it's just like the coaches and staying in the coach's box.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw a coach inside the coach's box?
And the only advantage I think probably is the pitcher can't see those lines that well, but the umpire certainly can.
Mhm.
Okay, we just have a couple of quick minutes left. Tim, I'm gonna let you go first. Who's gonna be in the World Series, the way you see it? And I know this is an early prediction and maybe like some of those college football, way too early predictions, but we're gonna put you on the spot.
My early prediction: the Dodgers versus the Tigers.
Dodgers and Tigers.
Dodgers and Tigers.
Steve, what do you think?
Last year when we did this late in the season, we both picked the exact same thing. I actually do have the Tigers, but I have the Pirates. I like the Tigers for what we talked about before. They're off to a good start without their best pitcher. I think they've got this kid Shane Green who's 2-0 now, who's one of the top prospects in baseball, young kid. They've got David Price, who's a former Cy Young Award winner. But I will caveat my prediction of the Tigers is if Verlander comes back to be the old Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
I think another thing about the Tigers, they got Yoenis Cespedes now in the outfield, who they got from the Red Sox, who played for the A's most of the year last year. They went to the Red Sox late. And this new shortstop, Jose Iglesias, is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And he was hurt most of last year. The reason I like the Pirates is because they got A.J. Burnett back. And A.J. Burnett will probably have a record of something like 11-12 or 11-9, something like that. But he'll eat up innings. He'll go out there and that'll help the Garrett Cole, this really young kid they got. I looked. He was born in 1990, and this is like his third year in the majors. But the young pitchers that the Pirates got will benefit greatly from having Burnett around, even if he doesn't have a sterling record. And their bullpen will also be really good. But I like.
But is it really, really true? Now we're gonna pull the rug out from under you. Steve's son goes to Duquesne University, which is in Pittsburgh. Does that have any influence on you whatsoever?
No, not at all. Although PNC Park is
yeah.
I was almost said probably PNC Park is the nicest ballpark in the major leagues. It's awesome. They also have this kid playing right field named Gregory Polanco, and I saw him play in Class A ball about 4 or 5 years ago now in Augusta, Georgia. And when he walked out on the field, it was just like he just looked different than the other 17 players. And last year I think he got called up. I think he's not eligible for Rookie of the Year last year because I think he played 89 games last year, so he's not eligible. But I look for him to be a star.
That reminds me of something. For those of you who are not aware, we're in SEC country, the heart of the SEC country, and they're going through spring drills. And I remember back during the season when they were talking with the guys that run the Senior Bowl, Phil Savage. And I said, well, why do you think that the SEC is so much better? And he says, he said, just go look at their players at practice versus some of the other conferences. And when you were saying about him walking out on the field, he just looked different. Like it seems to me that it was Trout, what's his first name? Mike Trout. I just don't know why he's not getting the ink that some of these other, because he is a tremendous ball player.
It's the East Coast bias.
And that started back even when he signed. The whole media was just paying attention to Harper.
Right.
And all they heard was, well, the Angels have a decent prospect named Mike Trout. So that started way back.
Right.
Yeah, but Bryce Harper was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was like 17. And he went and played junior college in a wooden bat league and did all the right things. The other person I think we need to mention, and one of the reasons why Tim and I probably both picked the Tigers, is the start that Miguel Cabrera is off to. Because he in the weekend series, in the weekend series, he got 3 hits on Friday, 4 hits on Saturday, and 4 hits on Sunday. So
that runs counter to the trend of not having good batting and not enough head.
One wild card, I just wanted to bring this up. The old guy in Oakland, Billy Bean.
Yeah.
leads the league in runs and ERA with the $85 million payroll. So he's
Wow.
back at it again.
He's still at it. Well, who's going to win the Cy Young Award?
Kershaw.
All right, Kershaw.
Kershaw and Price.
Okay. MVP for AL.
Miguel Cabrera.
Trout.
NL.
And hell. I'll go with McCutcheon.
Stanton.
There you go. You heard it.
Stanton hit last night without
the face mask.
face
Yeah.
Right.
mask.
You heard it first here on Sports Talk here at the United States Sports Academy. Tim and Steve, thanks very much. Your comments are really, really enlightening, and we do appreciate it. We want to thank you folks who keep sending in the emails with suggestions. Remember, you can send it to sportstalk@ussa.edu. That's sportstalk@ussa.edu. So until next Wednesday at this time, we want to wish you a great day in sports. Good day.